So you mentioned the HBO show. It's obviously, short-lived, supposed to be.
About as short as you can have a show. I don't know that it qualifies.
As a talk show, quarterly, ended up lasting 3 of the scheduled 4.
Quarterly ended up as a third.
Right.
Thirdly.
Or 75%. Did it last for
it's not a
3
bad
of them?
grade. It's like a solid C.
Yeah, exactly. But, apparently between the first and the second show, it ended up becoming pretty heated between you and HBO. I think at one point, you're sitting in your car on the phone with HBO, literally screaming at them. Why did it become so heated? I can't
deny that. When Artie Lang came on, and I can't assume that everybody knows what the Artie Lang situation is, but he came on the live HBO show, and he was exactly what I asked him to be. I mean, it was over the line.
And Lang being Howard Stern fan.
Yeah. But I went into him beforehand. I said, look, man, when you get out there, light me up. I can take it. It's fine. I want it to be fun. I want it to be. We talked afterward. I mean, he got pretty vulgar, and it was tough to sit there because I couldn't really jump back at him. I had to be the host, and so that was hard to just sit there and take it and not give back. But that's fine. That didn't make me upset or sad or mad or like want to go suck my thumb in the corner. That's what we asked for. And so HBO reacted like they were going to have him deported. And the frustrating thing for me was, we led into like pornucopia or something. It wasn't like it was that. This wasn't like on PBS. So he did what we expected. And he and I talked a couple days later, and he's like, look, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I got a little carried away. I got the first joke, the first laugh, and I'm a comic. That's what I do. So that's a pretty good Artie Lang.
That was impressive, actually.
I said, leading into show 2, we've got to have him back. Everywhere I go, people are yelling Artie Lang and whatever. I said, we've got to have. I can't act like that didn't happen. So I'm not going to walk out on the stage, and they're like, under no circumstances are you going to even refer to Artie Lang. I said, well, you got the wrong guy, because I'm not going to walk out there and avoid that. I said, I'm either going to do the show and talk about Artie and have Artie on in some capacity, or I'm not going to do the show, because that's not me. And I'm not going to go out there with my hands tied behind my back. I ended up talking to the head of HBO, and he said, it's over and done with, forget it, don't talk about it. And I'd already booked Artie to do the cold open with me in Times Square. And so we wrote it up. I said, well, think about it. Either cancel the show or have him on. But that's the way I as the host, want to do it. And obviously, it's up to you. It's your network. And so they said, okay, against our better judgment, we'll let you do it. But make sure it's done well and make sure it's done tastefully, which is their right to do. And so, as it turns out, we do this comedy bit, where I bump into him in Times Square and it spins him around, it spins me around, and he's looking at me like the Belushi, like, hey, old buddy. And I look at him and I kind of acknowledge him, and then I just sprint through Times Square, and he turns and runs after me. And that's how we started the second show. And in the room, when that came up, the place went crazy. They loved it. And HBO afterward, to their credit, they were like, it was funny, and it was the right thing to do, and it put it to bed. I never had to say one more word about it on that show.
A great way to start a live show.
It is. It was fun. I mean, my God, everything's so serious, and if you can't laugh or if you can't joke or whatever, or that was, nobody got killed. It just was what it was, and you move on. I've never acted that way.
What do you think you learned from, the whole experience?
I learned so much in 3 shows. First of all, I did a live talk show, which is pretty rare. And I got through them, and I was comfortable, and I liked a lot of the interviews. They weren't all great, but that's live TV. But I think I learned to kind of make sure what I jump into suits how I want to be represented. And I'm sure they would say the same thing. We all shook hands and walked away, and it was fine. There's no ill will. But I wish we had gotten more of a chance to do shows and see where it evolved, how it evolved, and where it got, because we only did 3 shows, and they were spread out with months in between. And, you know, somebody said to me, that's like canceling Conan after 3 nights, like on Wednesday. I wish we had a better crack at doing it for a longer time and just see what came out of it.
To get the reps. I mean, as you've even said to students, like there's nothing that, you know, can prepare you for something until you're actually, you know, in there doing it.
Yeah, you can't get polished at anything unless you do it a number of times, and that's the only way to do play-by-play, and that's the only way to host a show.
Back in '99, you said 10 to 15 years from now, I don't think I will be doing play-by-play.
Let me tell you why I said that.
Okay.
And I think I would still say that going back in time, because I grew up around this. I've been around a booth and doing play-by-play since I can remember, and I haven't done it all my life, but you know, I did the Cardinals. I started in 1991 full time. So, I mean, I've been at it for a while now. And, you know, at some point, whatever the next chapter is, it'll be. But I just don't see myself growing old doing it. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll eat these words, and I love what I do. But I think eventually the travel, the weekend stuff, you know, something else will come up. Life's too precious and too many things happen to say when I'm 65, this is what I'm going to be doing. I hope I am 65 someday. Maybe I won't be. One thing I'd like to do is I'd like to teach. And that may be difficult considering I didn't graduate college. But if they're willing, some university or high school is willing to teach or hire a teacher that doesn't have a degree, I'm your guy. Because I'd like to teach broadcasting. I'd like to kind of give what I know and see, you know, a young person who desperately wants to be a big league announcer improve. And, you know, I feel like I'm at that point. I had so many things given to me, and just through life experience, and so many things that my dad showed me by example, that I'd like to turn around and give that to others that want to do it. And it's such a popular profession now that I think I could have a lot of fun doing that.